Okay, welcome to another Legacy video. Today I'm going to be playing Red-Green Lands. If you watched the previous video where I was playing Green-White Depths, you saw me play against this deck in round one. I kind of got a little bit jealous of my opponent as this is one of my favorite decks, so I decided I would record with this one next. For those who are not super familiar, I actually do own this deck in paper. I bought into it in 2018 when tabernacles were only $2,000, which feels like a ridiculous statement to say. Also, I felt so ridiculous spending that much money, but the that weekend I also top aided a Grand Prix, so I got my money straight back, so that was kind of nice. But anyways, for those who are unfamiliar, Green Lands functions as a half prison, half combo deck. So the combo is the same as Green White Depths, or I mean any deck that really uses Dark Depths. You want to use your Thespian Sage to become a copy of Dark Depths, make a 20/20, and kill them. So sometimes you do that really quick, and sometimes it's slower. So the game plan in the slower matchups is, I mean, you really just want to abuse your lands. It's really nice because your lands kind of function as spells, which really gives you this big advantage here. So the way that you're going to abuse them the best is one, having exploration in play, which lets you play a second land. And so whenever you get to make, two land drops, you are kind of just getting ahead of your opponent really fast, and you can kind of bully them on mana. But you might be thinking, okay, well, if I do that, I'm going to run out of lands. So the reason we don't run out of lands is we play copies of Life from the Loam. So we can kind of just keep flipping cards into our graveyard, picking them up, playing additional lands, and really getting ahead. Valkut Exploration is also a new card that gives us a good source of card advantage. Has landfall whenever a land enters. You exile the top card, and then you can play that as long as it's exiled. So you can really kind of generate a lot of advantage by using your explorations with your loams and your other explorations. Um, and then you kind of want to use your lands to bully your opponents, basically. So you have Wasteland and Rashadan Port and Ghost Quarter, which all kind of let you uh, kind of, destroy your opponent's mana, keep you ahead in that race. Um, Also, you have Field of the Dead as a secondary win condition, which is really nice because you don't even have to resolve anything. You kind of can just keep developing your board. Eventually, you will kill your opponent. And then we also have, for if your opponents do resolve things, you have Grove of the Burn Willows with Punishing Fire, so this recurring source of damage in which you can use to mow down their creatures. You can take down some planeswalkers. It's, this card was recently not very good because Dreadhorde, the Dreadhorde Arcanist was such an important part of the format. You really needed to be able to deal 3 toughness, and Punishing Fire notably only says 2. But now that that card's gone, the stock of this card has gone up significantly. This deck should actually just be much better positioned than it was, especially with Force of Negation being not as prevalent as it was. Force of Negation was really, really backbreaking for this deck. As I mentioned, it's somewhat reliant on resolving Life from the Looms repeatedly, and when that card gets exiled, sometimes it just left you with nothing to do. Uh, but yeah, so this deck is pretty fun and exciting. Here are basically your lands that do interesting things, plus the Tabernacle, of course. If you aren't aware of what Tabernacle does, it gives all creatures an upkeep cost of 1, which is really, really strong. Um, so lands tends to be pretty good against most fair decks, pretty weak against combo decks. So you really want to shore that up in the sideboard. So in the sideboard, you're going to see a lot of these really taxing effects, like the Sphere of Resistances, the Thorn of Amethyst, the Chokes. Gonna go ahead and mention Choke plus Rashadan Port. That's what I like to call a combo. So those are really your big answers for combo decks, as well as Pyroblast and Rana Elemental Blast. Torpor Orb, very good against Doomsday. Um, Shuts off the enter the battlefield ability of Thassa's Oracle, and that's how they win. Force of Vigor is really important. That was a really big upgrade for this deck. Stuff like Blood Moon was really backbreaking, back to basics. So Force of Vigor giving you this answer that you can almost always cast to get rid of those things was really, really nice. And then lastly, a couple copies of Drop of Honey, this really expensive card. And really what it does is it kind of helps keep creatures out of play. Interesting note, in Time Spiral, figure we'll talk about that since Time Spiral Remastered is coming out. They printed the card Periphery Nodes, which is a very similar card in white. And actually, if you rearrange the letters in Drop of Honey, you can spell Periphery Nodes. So that's just a little fun anecdote about where that name came from. Anyways, I have been talking about this deck for long enough. One last quick thing, I guess. I just want to give a quick shout out to Ali. I'm blanking on his last name, sorry. I know it starts with an L, but you can find him at Ali, ALLI, on Twitter. I got this deck list from him, just straight up copying one of his recent 75s. The guy is a Lands Master, and he actually always just has cold brews in general. So I figured he is a good place to get this list from. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so welcome to the first round. My hand is pretty good. It's got a very quick combo. We can speed it up with the Mox Diamond and or the Exploration. Notably, I'm lacking on any copies of Life from the Loam or Sylvan Library or Valakut Exploration. So if the combo gets broken up, then we are not in a good shape as we can't really rebuild. I keep knowing what my opponents are on or having some vague idea. I feel like Clog W is largely a combo player, so I don't think they are likely to break this up. I think I would keep this hand either way because it just presents such a quick combo. And the second you draw a Sylvan Library or Valakut Exploration or Life from the Loam, I think this hand is outstanding. I'm just noting that they are unlikely to be able to break it up, though. Okay, so my opponent's on the play. Turn one Preordain. Pretty fitting for if they are a combo deck. Oh, you cannot see my entire hand the way I have this set up. Okay, let's gonna put myself up here. So real quick, I'm gonna check what my opponent did. So they put one on top, one on bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead. It's Forest. We're gonna play around Days. It's free. Play this Exploration. Wonderful. Burning Wish is definitely the mark of a combo deck. So getting Show and Tell, which is, not the best sign for us. Hopefully, they don't actually have something to show and tell in. That seems vaguely unlikely. Unfortunate that they didn't even have like a basic for us to hit. Okay, so it's possible they whiff here. Super unlikely, but possible. So we're just gonna kind of hope for the best. Definitely gotta make them play it out. Oh no, a blocker. Doubly unfortunate. So this is fun. I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun? I hope you all are having fun. Okay, that's good enough for me. Okay. So for sideboarding, I'm actually also going to be just going with what Allie recommends. So this is Sneak and Show. This list is slightly unusual as it's kind of a rug show and tell deck. I actually am aware of their list. They're not actually playing Sneak Attack. It's really kind of OmniShow splashing red for um, the Burning Wishes. I can't remember off the top of my head if they're playing Blood Moon or not. But regardless, either way, I know they're playing Omniscience, so I'm going to be bringing in Force of Vigors anyways. So Ali, I guess, kind of unsurprisingly, does not have this on his sideboard guide since this is not really something that typically sees a lot of play. So we're kind of making this up a little bit. We're gonna basically cut a bunch of the lands that don't really do anything. We're not trying to play the long game, so the gnomes kind of lose some potency. It's possible I actually do want to keep the Punishing Fires in to deal with Ice Wing Waddles. I don't know if Choke is any good or not. My opponent is a blue deck, but like they're actually not playing that many blue cards. I'll leave the Chokes in. So we're gonna sideboard like this. Okay, this hand seems pretty good. This hand is quite good actually. So we're gonna slam a Choke on turn one. I mean, it's very possible for my opponent to get away with just not casting blue cards ever, but that doesn't seem like a great plan. I don't know why in my head I had an exploration out. I'm going. So there's arguments to just draw cards naturally, but I believe I'm going to dredge loam because I'm mainly interested in finding dark depths, and that's really the quickest way to find dark depths. While I do have ways to interact with combo, they're not super plentiful, so I think just digging for the combo as fast as possible is the best plan. Getting Rashad Port here is really nice. So I don't know if it's Rashad or Rishadan. I just know it has beautiful artwork. If you've never, wow, this is the Masters 25 one. The original, I mean, this art's not bad, but the original Rashad Port artwork is just absolutely gorgeous. It's really stunning. Cool, wonderful. So on their upkeep, I'm going to tap down. I'm going to go with the green source. Pretty sure they play more green cards than red cards, but also I think the red source might be more relevant because the Burning Wish, I think, is the strongest card for them really to be getting or to be casting between these basics. So I'm actually gonna just play the Wasteland here. Interestingly, I have the option to waste the Misty, and then I can port whatever they get if they get an island, and kind of hope to keep them off of a blue source. So I kind of like doing that, and then I'm gonna use the Ancient Tomb and Thespian Sage to copy the port. Yeah, like this looks really awkward because I mean the Wasteland is not going to resolve, obviously, but I think getting to combine it with the port is relevant. So now I have 2 ports, which is pretty good. Buy these lands back. Ooh, oh, that's so awkward. Moto, come on. That's not what I was trying to do. Oh, that's really frustrating. If I lose because they had an extra mana this turn, I'm going to be really sad. Okay, that's good. Ooh, buying that Caracas back will be nice. You know, I might also just lose if I keep Ancient Tombing myself. Okay, let's do this properly this time. Wonder if they're gonna cast Impulse here. He's saying, okay. Yeah, now they have me on a 10-turn clock because I've been super aggressive with this Ancient Tomb. I mean, 10 turns is a lot of time. So I'm not actually worried about a 10-turn clock. But it's just funny how much damage I'm doing to myself. Ooh, Ghost Court is huge. I don't actually know how many basics they play, but I imagine I can start taking them off of basics shortly. I might even be able to start now, honestly. My concern is I don't want to like ghost quarter them into a blue source. Okay, I really do need to find. Oh, they're not even attacking. I was going to say I really do need to find a Mare Leech sooner than later here. Well, Dark Depths, I guess I should say. Okay, so bring these cards back. So I can get a third Rashad Port. I don't think I really need a third one, though. That being said, I'm just so full of cards. It's fine. So, you're really seeing the prison plan playing out here. My opponent's hand is probably full of blue cards that they can't cast. Okay, so they're starting to attack now, which makes sense. I'm actually... Sooner or later, we'll see a Dark Depths. Wow, okay. This is starting to get concerning. It's kind of weird that I've gone through half my deck and I haven't seen. Oh, I don't know why I didn't discard a life from the loam. Whoops. That means I'm going to have to take at least one regular draw, which is not the end of the... Oh, no. Oh, no. I forgot to port. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's so bad. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. Oh. It's too busy thinking about the fact that I had the wrong life from the loam. Or, I mean, I was supposed to discard life from the loam. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. So, I'm clearly dead. Wow. That's, okay. That's really unfortunate. Okay, so I would have dredged over... Oh man, this Marriage was a long ways away. There's one. Okay. Oh, well, it is what it is. Okay, so we're in round two now. I won the die roll, so that's always good. So this is a problem that you run into with land surprisingly often, which is a really awkward problem where you don't have colored mana sources. You would think in a deck named lands, and for your playing this sheer number of lands, you would not run into mana issues, but that's just not the case. And then here we don't have enough lands. If we had one more, I would keep this hand because we could resolve the Sylvan Library, and then we'd be a land away from one of these Valkut Explorations. But as it stands, we're really far. So we're going to go down to 5. This hand's very good. So we're going to get rid of the Tabernacle. This is awkward because I want all of these. I think the crop rotation is the weakest card here, though, which it just has the most chance for something to go wrong. It's also obviously a very powerful card, but we should be able to generate some good card advantage with what we have. Notably, crop rotation does work super, super well with Life from the Loam, but that's okay. So does Valkut Exploration. So we're just going to go ahead and cast this Loam with no targets. Just get it started. My opponent taking the time to think makes me assume they have Force of Negation, which would be really unfortunate because I really want this Valkut Exploration to resolve. Let's see what happens here, though. So on my turn, I'm just going to draw. Well, okay, so if I think they have a Force of Negation, I kind of don't want to play the Exploration, but I also don't know that not playing it really does anything for me. So with that being the case, I'm just going to draw naturally. Hopefully I'll draw land because then I can play around Daze. If my opponent does something to indicate that they're on Delver, though, I will actually dredge the loam. Uh, okay, where that happens. Um, they probably can't beat Chaining Wastelands. Okay. So if they had played a Delver card, I would want to dredge loam so that I could play around Daze with the exploration. Presumably, I would hit a land. Yeah, so that would be really nice because I could buy back and play both of those. I could Wasteland if I wanted. It's awkward. Don't really know how to sideboard because my opponent did not show me anything. They showed that they were something that wasn't going to be able to beat what we had. So more than likely they are not a combo deck. Uh, More than likely they're not something like Maverick. I like it. We saw the Greenlands, or like we saw the Misty was the only thing we saw. So they could have green in their deck, but most of the truly green decks can beat Wastelands. Although, I mean, it was a very strong start, so maybe they'd be worried about it anyways. But it's most likely they are some kind of blue deck. So I'm gonna bring in the chokes. I'm gonna shave a Life from the Loam, which is something you do a lot, and I'm gonna shave a crop rotation. Oh no, I'm gonna shave a Punishing Fire actually. Should probably bring in the Pyroblast and Red Blast too, but I'm not going to. I don't really know what is okay to cut, so that just seems unnecessary. So this hand, this is the same thing where it doesn't have a green source. You can actually kind of engineer your own green source here by doing something like turn one playing the wasteland, turn two play ghost quarter your wasteland, get the forest, and then play the life from the loam. But I just don't think that's really where we want to be. This hand has reasonable amounts of denial. It does have green and or potentially red mana, which is really nice. So this hand is better. I think we can do better than this though. That being said, our opponent is on something that's weak to mana denial. So this might not be the worst thing in the world. I think we can do better on 5. This hand is so close to being good though. I'm gonna keep. I'm probably gonna regret it. I just don't want to go too low on cards. Like I don't really know what I'm looking for anyways. Okay, so our opponent did shuffle. It's always good. Okay, hopefully they were looking for lands. Unlikely, but possible. Joke's on you. I don't have the cards you're scared about. Uh, Notably, there's a pretty good argument there for just like playing the Ancient Tomb, getting set up to utilize the blast zone if we wanted. Ooh, that's going to be a problem. I really wish we had our wasteland. I think that was wrong. Should have played the Mox Diamond, pitching the Ancient Tomb, and then played Rashad and Port as my land for turn. Port it down the bayou. My opponent paid 8. Pretty reasonable. Almost certainly correct. Opponent is going to try to mana denial us out. Makes sense. I wonder if they're going to pay 8 again. It's risky because then they leave themselves weak to punishing fire. Okay, so it's bugged over. It's nice having some information at long last. So I'm going to port this. Well, I guess they know what their top cards are. There goes my exploration. It's interesting to me that Dover didn't flip. Someone library should have let them set it up. I wonder if they couldn't flip it or if they just didn't consider it. Oh, why didn't I play a Blast Zone last turn? Duh. So I could have gotten the Blast Zone up to deal with their Sylvan Library. Okay, so now the question becomes, do I want to kill their Delver and, I mean, killing their now Spellbound doesn't do anything, or do I just want to play my own library? I believe the answer is I want to play my own library. I probably okay, that's unfortunate. I'm actually going to give up the Dark Depths here, which I don't love. I want to put the Blast Zone on 2 and try to get rid of their library. Sorry about that. Ooh, that reminds me though, I did not actually update my record this time around. I'm slacking. Then I updated it wrong. Man, I'm it's a little bit of iffy content right there. Hopefully you all forgive me. Okay, so there goes their Sylvan Library. On their turn, we'll port. It doesn't really matter which one we'll port. Port their Underground Sea. Underground Sea is always the best land in your deck. We're likely too far behind in this game for anything to really happen for us, though. It's definitely unfortunate. Okay. If this resolves, that's certainly a good start. Okay. Uh, that's pretty unfortunate. Okay. We're actually going to hold on to that. If my opponent, I mean, sorry, not if my opponent, if I draw a Valkut Exploration, then I would much prefer to be able to get the landfall trigger. It's unlikely that I get punished for keeping this in hand. Huh. Wish I had that Dark Depths from forever ago. I wish I had a punishing fire, is what I wish. Okay, so that's the game. Okay, so bring these back in. We're going to cut the one Field of the Dead. It's pretty good against them, but very hard to get online against Wasteland strategy. Cut this, it's a little slow. We're going to bring in the chokes, which I already did. Add some drop of honeys. Yeah. We're kind of going to roll exactly like that. Okay. This hand is certainly slow, but it's very powerful. Very slow, though. It's definitely an argument for just starting with the Wasteland, because if they play a Delver here, then it would have been nice to be able to just Wasteland and Tabernacle. Ooh. I will be completely honest, I did not see that coming. I don't really like having a discard against the land sack post board, but huge their Okay, so next turn I'll have the option of playing Choke. It's possible I want to wait to play around Daze. It's not super likely that they have Daze in post board. Okay, well, I guess I can't play Choke. I wonder how much Grave Hate my opponent has in. Because generally speaking, discard against the Life from the Loam strategy is not a very solid plan. But honestly, I'm not in a great spot right now, so maybe it's going to work out for them. We'll see. So I'm going to do this off basic forest. Play around their wastelands. Hopefully I don't get... why am I blanking on the name now? Hopefully they don't have Force of Negation here. Or like... You know, that's very unfortunate. But it is what it is. Nothing we could really do about that one. Still in a reasonable spot, especially with the missing land drops. Uh, they probably have a Ponder in hand that I'm not letting them cast. So I'm an evil man. And now we're really close to getting zombie tokens up and running. So we're at a point where almost any draw in our deck is good. That being said, yeah, basically any draw. Valakut Exploration, oddly enough, is not good since I don't have a red source. I'm hitting Sylvan Library is really bad for us. Okay, well, I don't even have a Thespian stage, so that seems a little bit of a premature concession. So I probably would have cracked. I would have drawn the Ghost Quarter, which would have been solid. But if I used it, it would have put me off of having field. But I'd have four power worth of zombies in play. So it would have been a couple turns. I don't know. I really don't like that concession there, but each down. Oh well. Okay, so round three. I'm on the play. Or sorry, I'm on the draw. This hand has the Life from the Loam, which is good. Has Grove plus Punishing Fire, which is good. But no acceleration, so that's pretty weak. No kind of mana denial. No way to actually kill my opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. Wow, this mana is rough. If one of these lands was a fetch, I would definitely keep this. But since I don't have green or red mana, okay, so we're going to keep this. I definitely want this Wooded Foothills to go with this Valakut Exploration. Definitely want at least one Mox Diamond to ramp me into it. The Taiga is probably good. So I'm probably going to get rid of the Mox Diamond and the Tabernacle. It feels kind of weird keeping Field of the Dead with a Mox Diamond because they notably don't work together. But I think Field is a reasonable plan, and I want to have the Mox Diamond to accelerate into the Valakut Exploration. So I mean, it makes sense. It's just a little weird. Hoping I don't regret getting rid of Tabernacle. Oh, well, it looks like my choices did not matter. So that's nice, I guess. Notably, I am recording this deck right before the showcase challenge was this weekend, and I do think Doomsday is a pretty strong choice. So there's probably a lot of that in the queues right now with people trying to learn the deck really quick in time. It's been kind of rough because people are taking forever to resolve their Doomsday piles because nobody knows what they're doing. So that's not great, but it does make sense that we are seeing so much of it. Granted, this is only the first one in this video, but just in general, I've been seeing a lot of it. I actually was joking on the podcast this week about how when Paper Magic comes back, people are going to show up with Doomsday and they are not going to be used to playing it in any reasonable amount of time, and they are just going to time out, or not time out, but they're going to get hit with slow play left and right. Ooh, I'm supposed to play my land first to play around days. Hopefully my opponent didn't account for mana denial and this is just strong enough. I mean, if I were them, I would have accounted for a wasteland, but you never know. It looks like they did, because there is likely a Cavern of Souls in their pile. But we'll see. I mean, plus they went off from their opening hand, so they probably had more lands. Wishing I had that second Mox Diamond right about now. because then I would be able to copy the port, and that might actually be good enough. Yep, so I'm just out here. Not unexpected. Okay, so against Doomsday, we're cutting the Maze Vest. Reasonable. Cutting the Caracas, the Bog, the Tabernacle. Which is funny, I was saying I hope I don't regret pitching the Tabernacle. I definitely did not regret pitching the Tabernacle. Man, I will be very excited if we get to just kind of get them with Torpor Orb. That would really make me quite pleased. Not having green source is really rough. I would love to just play this Thorn of Amethyst as soon as possible, but then having no follow-up is not great. It's hard to want to mulligan when you actually have one of your hate cards in your hand, though. But I have no follow-up if it gets countered, so we're gonna pitch it. Keep this. Pitch that. Sweet. So they don't have um, counter magic based off of how quick the exploration resolved. So I'm actually gonna do this. Hope this is good enough. I feel really awkward because I cut some number of life from the looms, but that would be a very good draw here. It's actually what I would like to draw the most. I'll give them some more life. Being able to bring back the Horizon Canopy just would have been very nice. Interesting. I don't know what they're doing for 3 black mana. Okay, they have a second Dark Red. Wow, that's that's okay. Well, that's really unfortunate. I guess if you have it, you have it, but man. Okay, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. We do legitimately still have outs here. Ooh. Also, it looks like they didn't grab their cavernous souls, so we could also just hit Pirate Blast or Red Elemental Blast, or we could do no such thing. Oh no. Uh, so I wonder if they're gonna go for it here. Yep, looks like they are. So we're gonna lose, which again happens. My opponent didn't even need their Volk. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So round three, I'm on the draw. This hand is missing a Life from the Loam, Sylvan Library, or Valakut Exploration. If it had one of those cards, it would be quite good. Um, we're only like 20% to hit. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan. This hand is slightly slower than I'd like, but is pretty good. Get rid of the Life from the Loam. I just wish the Sheltered Thicket came into play untapped. But, you know, baggers can't be choosers. Hopefully we don't get hit with Force of Negation either, since I just bottomed the second Life from the Loam. That would be pretty brutal. My opponent is on Delver, so they definitely could have it. Got basic island, so it looks like they are likely on blue-red, which is unfortunate. It's probably one of the harder versions. So hopefully they don't wasteland us here. If they wasteland us, that would actually be super brutal. For our turn, I'm going to play the stage in the Maze of Ith, which, come on, don't do it. Oof. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, that is just kind of the worst. You know, at the start of this video, I said that Lambs was fun, but I don't know if I'm having that much fun. If I was better at it, I'd probably be having more fun. Ooh, they don't have another land? I might be having fun again. Okay, they ruined it. Young Pyromancer is very good. Hopefully we draw just, some more lands. I guess that I should have clarified I really would have preferred it to be a green land, but that's okay. Also, I just want to go ahead and say I really appreciate my opponent not attacking here and kind of doing the Maze of Fifth check. We learned from round one that I probably would fail since I forgot to port my opponent and then lost immediately. But I really appreciate when people just don't even waste the time attacking and dealing with priority passes for Maze with. Wow, Wasteland is right on time. It's very possible that they do what I think would be wrong in Wasteland the Maze. Now it seems less possible because if they were going to do that, they would have done it. Okay, the Wooded Foothills seems like a pretty nice draw. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whew. Goodness me. Um, yeah, that's something. Oh, oh my lord. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even really consider Stifle. Was not on my radar. Um, I would have gotten Stifled either way, but I at least would have done it on their turn. I'm starting to get the feeling that I am not going to win this game, but could happen if absolutely everything goes right. Two, three, four, five, six. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how I possibly win. Definitely involves a tabernacle. In olden days, this deck used to play Glacial Chasm, so that could help clear up some issues here. Nope, okay. Just dead. Pretty unfortunate, but these things happen. It's been happening a lot today, but that's okay. Okay, so against Delver, cutting this Caracas, shaving a Field of the Dead, cutting two crop rotations, Valkut Exploration, and chokes, drops of honey, red blast, pyroblast. Okay, so we get to be able to play this game. That was just kind of rough. I wonder if things would have been any different if that shelter thicket was just like a taiga. Anyways, I'm gonna keep this hand. This hand's pretty good. Especially if my opponent doesn't have like a force negation or surgical effect. If they have one of those, it obviously gets way worse. But as it stands, this hand is quite good. Oh yeah, what we like to see. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful start. So we're gonna get the loam engine running. It's not the best. So we're gonna tap like this. Leave it is slightly better way to tap. And we could play the drop of honey, but I don't want the drop of honey to just get sacrificed super easy when we have the Maze of If to kind of hold back the insect for a while anyways. Wonderful if they don't have a second land. It's pretty risky keeping such land light hands against lands, honestly. Okay, we have paused in my opponent's instep. I'm not quite sure why. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to keep dredging the loam. Well, that's a pretty good one. Would probably force this time if I were my opponent. Conceding also works. Yeah, I do accept concessions. So we're just going to run back the same configuration. So this is our game 3 hand. It is a keep. My opponent's been really bold with the lack of lands they're keeping, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. I don't really love wastelanding them when they, kind of had the first move. The fact that their follow-up land is wasteland to me signals that they probably did kind of the same thing though. So here we actually have good options. So we can play the Mazevith, which they kind of have to wasteland. Or we could just wasteland them, get them off of mana, because if they draw a 2-drop like Young Pyromancer, I mean, if they draw a land and have Young Pyromancer, we don't want them being able to cast it. And also, I want to get this Tabernacle deployed. If I don't think they have any lands, which is kind of what I'm thinking, then resolving this, I shouldn't say resolving, but putting this Tabernacle on a landless board would be insane. Well, doesn't quite break the way I hoped, but getting that off the board was not the worst. If I could go back in time, I would probably play the Windswept Heath, just as a way to actually advance my board state that they can't wasteland. But hindsight's 2020 or something. So I'm actually gonna pitch. So fetch now to play around Stifle. And I'm gonna do this on their turn. I'm actually gonna let the trigger resolve first. Get some knowledge. The reason to do this on their turn is to play around Force of Negation. I was originally gonna just use the Mazevith, but this is definitely the stronger play. Gets it permanently gone. Hopefully we can buy back the Mazevith. Gets us further on mana. Okay, so it looks like Young Pyromancer here, probably. Yeah. Awkwardly, their pause when I went to kill the Delver makes me think that they might actually have a means of interaction, probably like a daze or something, but we're still gonna go ahead and try this. Again, playing around Force of Negation. Okay, so they have, which they did have the Force of Negation, so love to see it, love to see it. Okay, so they are gonna get a fair number of tokens, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Given enough time, we will be able to clean them up anyways. Kind of hoping they'd stop making land drops so that this Tabernacle could be effective. Okay, we have So this time I'm actually going to go ahead and use the Punishing Fire on my turn. If I do it on their turn, they'll still be able to use a Force of Negation. And I'll just, tap all their lands, which is relevant because, mana denial. But the upside of doing it on our turn is if they have it, they have to give up all their cards. Nice. Less nice. A lot of aggression coming. So go ahead and try to kill this. And we're just going to drop the Tabernacle now. You can pay for their tokens, of course, but tying up their mana for some 1/1s might not be worth it. I don't know what's in their hand. I really don't know what's in their hand. I'm trying to figure out what they wouldn't have cast. Could just be, could be more creatures. Maybe Stifles? Possibly an answer for Merit Age. Okay, I like what they did there, paying for 2. That makes a lot of sense to me. Wow, that seems really good. So I think I'm going to lead with the Valkut Exploration because if they drew a land, they're definitely gonna counter it. And I think the choke is actually the juicier target here. I think tapping like that shows something's up. Although then we're not playing around days, so I don't actually like that. Oh, going to 7 is risky because they could easily just have lightning bolts. So I'm gonna wait a turn to play the exploration. They can only pay for 1, which I will then go ahead and kill. Yeah, I think we're actually in quite a good spot here. It's definitely possible I should not have used the ancient tomb. Then I'm going down slightly lower. I don't know. I think it was probably right, but I can definitely see a world in which it wasn't. I wonder how many lightning bolts my opponent has in their deck post board. They're not great in this matchup, but they're so chock full of them in their deck that might just be not feasible to really cut them all. Getting basic mountain makes sense. So I will let them pay for it first, which I should have done, because I don't want them to just turn around and lightning bolt me. Oops, need to make red. I wonder what this pause is. I wonder if my opponent drew counter magic's gonna say if they drew counter magic, they have to use it. I really do want this life on the loam, but I also don't think I can. I don't think it makes sense to go lower on life. Oh yeah, it just goes to my graveyard anyways. It doesn't go to exile. That's like actually absurd. That's really good for me. Oh no, my exploration. I guess I can't really complain. I mean, I just did, so I definitely can, but probably shouldn't. I want this maze of Ith. Just in case my opponent plays something hasty. What's that? I'll play a Mox Diamond. Cool. Yep. Bringing on the lightning bolts. Makes sense. Ooh, I should have brought back Punishing Fire into turn. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. None of these cards are particularly relevant. What would we get? Exploration. Nice. Blast Zone that we can't get. I'm actually going to go ahead and wasteland them, and that might look silly on the surface, but I don't want something like them being able to cast Daze coming up. So I'm going to buy back the Punishing Fires here. Notably, if they had Surgical, I could actually just trigger it again. Um, yeah, so we're going to buy back Blast Zone, Horizon Canopy, and Wasteland. Sheltered Thicket. Okay. It's not bad. Just gonna play the Blast Zone. Maybe I should actually start Punishing Fire. Between Punishing Fires and the Valkut Exploration, we actually do have a quick clock. In my head, it was kind of pointless because we can get there faster with a Thespian Sage anyways, but that might not be true. Um, I mean, I'm really bad at finding both halves of the combo, is what I'm learning. I think that's, yep, there it is. And I don't have a wasteland in play. Go ahead and make the Smart Lage. It's also kind of odd that I haven't seen a Rashadan port either. If I died to Chain Lightning, I would have been pretty sad. Would have been quite a bummer. Cool. Okay, so it's time for the final match. Uh, here's the question. Can we get the 3-2? The coveted 3-2, the dream. This hand is pretty good. So we're definitely going to keep this one. Okay, it looks like it is likely Blue-Red Delver again. Lucky us. So, okay, so here's what I want to do is I want to get this exploration into play. I want, again, a Mox Diamond into play, and I want a Rashadan port after the exploration. We actually don't even have to play around days, which is really nice. So, that being said, we could just leave with, okay, the field is going to be slow, so we're going to find we should find a life from the loam before we want this field. So we can pitch that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pitch the Field of the Dead. We're gonna play Exploration off of this. And then if Exploration doesn't resolve, yeah, that makes sense. We'll probably play the second Mox Diamond, pitching the Ghost Quarter and the Rishadan port. And then the following turn, we'll play the Valkut Exploration. Sweet. Love when we get our way. In that case, since I don't need to play this Mox Diamond, the question becomes, would I rather have this Grove or this Ghost Quarter? Fiery Islet makes me think they're going to be a deck with a lot of basics. I don't think the Ghost Quarter is really going to matter. So I'm going to play the Grove. And it's very possible that I actually just don't even use this Mox Diamond until I get a life from the loam going. These are things to just be mindful of. Okay, Lightning Bolting me. It's almost certainly Blue-Red Delver. Oh, I guess it might just be burned. I don't know what's going on. A level. Hmm. I really want to do so much here because I want to wasteland them, but I want to port them. But I also want to get this Valakut Exploration in play. Because I get the feeling they don't have more mana. So then, got a lot of burn. Is this just like Blue-Red Burn? I mean, they have Brainstorm, so it's probably Blue-Red Delver. So maybe waiting a turn was dumb because I'm just like opening them up to drawing Force Will or Force Negation. if that's the case. And I do think, I mean, I think that has to be the case. And they clearly didn't have it in their. Yeah, okay. So we might have screwed this one up. Uh, that's okay. These things do happen. Okay, so I think I'm supposed to play around days here. It's, again, not unlikely that they have it. It's awkward because I want to keep lands up for Valkut Exploration afterwards. Um, it's also possible I'm supposed to play around Spell Pierce. Less likely, but definitely possible. So I could Rashad import this, and I could just. No, that seems deep. I really should just get this into play. Um, and this will be nice because I'll be able to Rashad import them afterwards either way. And that was possibly incorrect sequencing. Because now I'm losing out on this value, actually. Whereas, like, if I had pitched the, I mean, not incorrect sequencing, but like if I had pitched the Thespian stage to Mox Diamond, then I'd still be able to play a land afterwards. So that might have been better to just dig further. Because we do want to find something like Life from the Loam. Oh, I mean, we want to find exactly Life from the Loam. Or Dark Depths, or Crop Rotation. Weird that they targeted Mox Diamond. Definitely weird that they targeted Mox Diamond, but I don't know. Oh, that's really good. Was that was 2 lands, right? Yeah. Okay. So I can Ghost Quarter this, in response, if they waste, then I can make the combo. Um, if they don't respond, then they end up with a basic land, which I don't love. So I could also just port this and then go ahead and make the dude in response. So I think that's the slightly better line here. I guess the question is, do I want to do this now or on their turn? I guess I want to do it on their turn. The downside to doing it on their turn is if they have Stifle, then that becomes live. I mean, they haven't really had a chance to use Stifle if they have it, so I guess we will actually play around that. It's probably better than letting them have mana for no reason. Or probably better than trying to deny them mana that we don't know that they have a plan for. So let's see what they do here. They just use it. I don't love personally, but whatever. That's on them. So we are going to get Taiga. Specifically getting Taiga in case they play this. Well, I guess they can't play this and waste us. I was gonna say, so we can find if we find Punishing Fire, but that doesn't actually matter. Okay. Hopefully they don't have second Brazen Power. That'd be pretty unfortunate. Yep. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and sideboard the same way we did last time. Out goes the Crocus, out goes one Field of the Dead, two crop rotations, and one Valakut Exploration, one Valakut Exploration, in comes two chokes, whoops, Fire Blast, Red Blast, and two Drop of Honey. And submit. Let's get this going. Okay, so understandably, we are on the draw. This hand is very good. Hopefully they don't wasteland us off of our only green source, because then this hand is not very good. Wow. What's really nice is we actually don't care if we get dazed. It's actually in our benefit, probably. Oh, ooh, shoot, shoot. Oh, did not mean to do that. That's really embarrassing. I definitely hit the auto yield button way too much. If I am going to be recording videos, I need to stop doing that because that's definitely not the best content. So sorry about that. I would have played the Field of the Dead, which is super relevant because next turn I should be able to port them twice. I just like gave up the ability to do that. So go me. Um, it's definitely possible I'm supposed to slam choke here, but I'm gonna wait one turn, play around days and whatnot. Actually, I think that was a mistake. I think I should have just slammed to the choke. Oh, well. We'll see what happens. Sorry about that. Just had to cough, so I wanted to mute myself real quick. Yeah, this letting them cast spells thing is not looking good. It'd be insane though, if this choke resolves and we drew a tabernacle. Oh my god. You're not a tabernacle. Come on, just let it happen. It's good for you. It's good for you, opponent. Yep, well, that's really unfortunate. I think they were actually considering letting it resolve. Um, I think they would have been fine, honestly. It's awkward, right? Because they're good unless I find Tabernacle. Oh, I'm just out of board. That's really unfortunate because I think that was actually a very good hand for us, but unfortunately their hand was just too aggressive. These things happen, but it does feel bad losing with such a good hand in a favorable matchup. That Force of Negation was huge. Okay, fifth and final game. Well, not fifth game, sorry. Final game of the fifth match. When I said "Let's go," my dog walked in. I think it's because when I take him for runs, whenever we start running, I say like "Let's go fast," and I don't even run particularly fast, but that's how I get him ready to start going. So I think he was like, "Are we doing the thing?" Had to let him down. Okay, so another pretty good hand, honestly. It's definitely possible I might have been supposed to keep the Horizon Canopy over the Taiga because it works so well with Life on the Loam, but so does Sylvan Library, so I think we are fine. See what our opponent has for us. Uh, so we'll see what I draw for turn, but I'm likely just going to cast this Life on the Loam and then play Sylvan Library if it resolves. That doesn't play around Daze, but I don't think Daze is great in this matchup, so who knows? It's very possible they wouldn't have it in, especially not being on the draw. I do think it's actually reasonable in the play because snagging and exploration is so good, but on the draw it's a little sketchy. Let's get some light in here. Kind of washes me out a little bit, but we'll all live. Um, okay, so since they chose to wasteland us, I didn't have the mana to do everything we wanted, but resolving Soul and Library is huge. So I'm not really upset about how that went. Okay, so obviously gonna draw off the Sylvan Library. My opponent's taking a minute to respond, which is fair. Took me a minute to activate. Not super interested in this drop of honey on this board. I will take this. This might look weird, but I'm actually just gonna play the Valakut Exploration without a second land, or without a land follow-up. I played the land first to play around days. Nice. And then, assuming nothing bizarre happens, we kind of just get to start going nuts next turn. We can't really think of what would stop it, but we just have so much card advantage here. I do apologize. I stopped recording for a second, and I think I missed the end of my opponent's turn. Uh, my dogs have been asking to go in and or go out and come back in a lot during this video. This is actually, I think the fifth time that I've restarted recording literally just this game or this match. Um, it's kind of weak. Um, So how do I want to do this? Actually, I'm just going to leave all of them on top. I'm not saying what I'm doing is the optimal way to approach this. I'm just too lazy to figure it out. I don't want to pay too much life because either I do know that because my opponent is so full of burn and stuff. This is really nice. This is going to put a second loam in our graveyard. I already used both land drops or no? Yes. Okay. Oh, that's that's actually really unfortunate. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Uh, Okay, so I mean, if I'm the opponent, I would snap that off. Um, it's really unfortunate. We're still not in a bad spot though, and so our plan is if they do surgical the life from the loom, we're gonna crack this fetch, and then kind of hope that we hit crop rotation, because then we can crop rotation for Bajuk Kabog and save our other two life from the looms. We do have them in the deck, right? Yes. Um, well, that's not super great either. I guess we're happier just making a Merit Lage. I wonder if they're waiting till my draw step. They're gonna play Young Pyromancer, Ethereal Forager. Okay. So what is it? It's when it attacks, you put it in your hand. Ponder, ponder, force, force. That's pretty good. Um, oh, this is so weird. They can't split this up. Oof. Wish I had that choke. Oh, this was a mistake. Oh, this was so bad. My opponent really thought this one through, and I did not. Yeah. Hardcore punish because I can't put oh, I have to pay 4 to put it back. Well, I can just say no to this, right? Okay, so at the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand, draw this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life or yeah, I would have to pay 4, which I don't really want to do. I basically get to draw cards anyways. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully they don't have an answer for this. We do know they play Brazen Bower, so it's not impossible that they have the answer. Okay, they're digging. To put them both on the bottom, that's a good sign. They didn't attack, also a good sign. You know, it's possible I should have just looked a little bit harder, but I don't think so. Um, I did. I should have made this though. That was definitely wrong. Okay, they're searching hard, which makes sense. Yeah, I mean, even though I was silly and let my I mean, my loan was definitely getting surgical. They didn't really have a choice, but I played that turn really weird. But looks like we got there. Got to live the 3-2 dream. Um, so yeah, closing thoughts. Um, honestly, don't really have any. Um, I mean, the deck was cool. It's so weak. It's combo decks. It's so weak versus combo. Uh, this was, I think, only my second time playing the deck post Valkut Exploration. I gotta say, that card is like kind of nuts. It just does so much. We didn't actually kill anyone with it, but I mean, it dealt a lot of damage and it gained us so much card advantage. Um, I'm kind of sad we didn't get to kill anyone with zombies, but we really, I mean, we didn't play against any control decks, right? We played 3 Delver decks and 2 combo decks, I think. Um, I'd have to go back and watch my own videos, but I'm pretty sure that's what we played. Um, yeah, but I mean, the deck was sweet. Wish it, really wish I had more game against combo. Yeah, because it was Doomsday, Sneak and Show, which we lost to both of those, and then beat three Delver decks. Um, So yeah, I mean, like I said at the start of the video, good against Delver, bad against combo. I mean, that's what we signed up for. That's how it went. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please, please like and subscribe, and consider following me on Twitter at Expedition Map over. I'm pointing the wrong way. Expedition Map over there, or follow the podcast right underneath me, Depths_podcast. Uh, really appreciate anyone who follows and enjoys my content. Uh, Thanks a lot. See you next time.